Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Oh, in fact, welcome back, because last year you were broadcast up there.
Much smaller, much better for everyone.
So most of the people in the room will be familiar with True Potential. I mean, Paddy did give us a call to arms to increase marketing and reach a wider group of people and raise brand awareness. But I think True Potential will be a business that's known to people in the room, but possibly not sort of the bigger picture of what it is that you're trying to achieve. So can you introduce the business for us?
Yeah, thanks, Heather, and thank you everybody for listening to me today. A little bit of a synopsis about who True Potential are. We are 17 years old this month, of course it's this year. We work with about 20% of all UK financial advisors, be that 1,200 advisors in our national advice model, or about 450 different directly authorised firms. Across that, we have our own investment platform, we have our own investment management approach. To use old industry parlance, I guess, we're a vertically integrated wealth advice firm. That means we look after £31 billion of assets, which is invested in True Potential portfolios. That serves about 525,000 clients, mainly via intermediaries, but where we've been working over the last 5 years in particular is helping intermediaries, financial advisors who are looking to retire or downsize, and they're looking for a consistent route or consistent home for their clients for many years to come. What that means is we look after about 75,000 clients in our central advice team, which means they're serviced solely from our head office in Newcastle. And those 75,000 clients look after about £11.5 billion of assets. So that's a bit of a nutshell, I guess, Heather, where we are as of this morning.
So you're working with 20% of financial advisors, which would put that at around 5,000 advisors. And sorry, the client numbers?
Client numbers invested on the platform itself, 525,000. Client records, about 1.7 million client records.
So, I mean, there was a bit of talk on the panel this morning about somebody mentioned 1 to 75 client to advisor ratio. At NextWealth, our research says it suggests across the markets 1 to 94. But you're talking about significantly different numbers, and that's regulated advice, human to human. So how are you able to do that? And you mentioned the vertically integrated tech stack is certainly going to be part of the story.
Vertical integration really helps, Heather, but it also helps where we started. And it's easy for me to rewind back 17 years and say we were right or not. But we started right from the beginning with technology. We built our own technology, we built our own platform, we own our own data, and we still do that today. So one of our largest teams in head office is our development team. Where we're different to most, not different to all, I'm not arrogant enough to presume that, we only build technology for True Potential. We only build technology for our clients. What that means is we spend all of our time, exactly what Paddy was talking about, talking to our clients, having discussions, and then looking to serve them with kit that works for the clients. That then moves across even when we look after our central advice clients. It's a common question we get asked. How can we look after 75,000 clients remotely, so to speak? Some of that is technology. It automates a lot of the dog work, so to speak, which advisors have to do. It removes some of the burdensome regulatory requirements. But also, it's the way in which we onboard clients. We had a couple of questions and a couple of mentions this morning about almost the strange dynamic financial advisors face today, which is a mix of transactional, giving advice, setting a client up for the first time. And then after that, it almost becomes farming. In terms of keeping the client warm, being a regular presence for the client from there. One of the things we say to our clients up front is, this is going to be a tech-led proposition. You're going to be given an app. You're going to have tools to help yourself. You're going to be presented with your information at a time when you want it. We're then going to employ some of the world's best fund management partners to run your money and make your money grow every day. But we are always here at Newcastle for you. We work Monday to Friday, 8 till 8. We work Saturdays as well for our clients to get a hold of us. What is the number one query that our clients ask? It's, I've lost my login details. It's how do I get back in? And this goes back to, it was from Octopus was talking about counsellor or coaches, so to speak, as well. We use a very similar sort of idea with relationship managers. So when a bulk of our clients call in, what they're looking for is guidance. They're looking for help to use the technology. They're looking for us to translate things a wee bit for them. It's very rare they then need to step into the advice side of things. Of course they do at times, and then we have advisors to do so. But it was, again, there was a great point this morning mentioned about advice to a member of the public is completely different to what we interpret advice in this room, and indeed what the FCA interpret advice as well. Advice to most people is, what's the best way to get from here to Piccadilly Circus, for instance, where you go here, down the street, turn left and do that. If you say that in our industry, you've got to have a 20-page suitability report and get it signed by a client. It's a wee bit upside down.
That servicing model you described, I think, is really interesting because we think of we've been talking a bit at NextWealth about this idea of an inverted pyramid, that in the past we've had the financial advisor with the relationship with the client supported by a number of people within the business, but that client relationship is with that advisor. Yeah. But we're seeing a bit of a change in the industry with people or firms looking to invert that so that the client has a relationship with the firm and many people across the firm. And as you said, when the advisor has to get involved, they can get involved, but they don't need to get involved for a password reset.
Correct. No, it's a waste of an advisor's talent. And also an advisor, we mentioned the numbers. I think, Heather, you were saying 27,000 or so advisors. I'm a wee bit more dour about that. I think there's about closer to 20,000 real advisors left in the industry. Where's the 7,000 discrepancy? After the SMF regime, anybody who was level 4 qualified tended to get made an advisor, particularly for the larger wealth firms. Why? What are they doing? Ongoing advice reviews for clients. So you look at some of the posher wealth brands out there, their advisors are effectively qualified administrators. They're ringing their clients up, they're completing an annual suitability review to justify that ongoing advice fee. And we're going to see more of that coming through. We obviously saw what happened with SJP over the last week or so as well, with a back book review of ongoing advice fees. So I think what's going to happen is a license to become an advisor is going to become more predominant to satisfy regulatory requirements, not to actually satisfy the real need to tackle the advice gap from there. So 20,000 advisors have it, and I think that's going to become less. We talked, I think it was Mark was talking about it a bit this morning, of average age of the advice industries, 57, 58, 59 years old, whatever it is. But when you look at FCA data, 50% of all UK advisors are above the age of 50, 30% are above the age of 60. Flip that on its head, 6% are below the age of 30. And they're not being replaced from there. So what we've actually got is this ticking advisor demographic time bomb, effectively, which is going to, rough and ready, we pulled our advisors and our wider network, 40% of those advisors say they're going to retire within the next 5 years. That's going to leave an extra 1.8 million clients orphaned, about £256 billion of assets, predominantly in pensions, just as those clients are about to reach the same age as those advisors. Because strangely enough, those advisors met those clients 40 years ago and did what Stephen was talking about, the man from the Prue, selling them £50 a month pension, £100 a month pension, where they then accumulated £200,000, £300,000. Just as those clients are about to hit their own retirement age, their advisor is going to retire. Now, we all know, I'm preaching the real obvious here, this is the most critical time of a client's life. This is the retirement they've worked all their life for, they've saved for, and it's now time to pay off the mortgage, to enjoy your retirement, and hopefully live for another 15, 20, 25 years. That isn't necessarily a full advice process, but that is definitely a guidance process. It's definitely looking after the client. It's definitely being there to translate, to reassure, and to help those clients for many years to come. And that's where we see an opportunity, a true potential, because advisors won't be replaced. I'm a huge fan of advisors. I've worked with them for 25 years in June this year now. Nobody can do what they do, which is encourage people to put a bit extra away. to spend less and save more. And they've done that darn well for 30 or 40 years. But unfortunately, something RDR, which killed off commission, was probably the death knell for advisors, as we know. Why? Because commission, love it or hate it, was a fantastic tool for a young advisor to get a start and to get, indemnity commission. Because when you're meeting a client in their 20s for the first time and they have only £50 a month to save for a pension, for instance, they can't afford then to write you a cheque for £1,000 from there. Something like commission was great for that because it would give a year's premium up front. That would give a young advisor in their 20s enough critical mass to build up a client pot to get to that 150, 200 critical mass of clients, which then means they're not having to worry about commission. They can work on different advice models. But that was 12 years ago now. 60,000 advisors gone from there.
And not much prospect to bring that back.
No.
With that 10 minutes,
I did warn you.
We need a whole day. We need a whole day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think that was and it was really helpful because I think it's important to think about the different models available and some of those big thorny issues that we face as an industry. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Heather.